All right, here's my mobility flow. It's my secret sauce. I do this 4 to 5 days a week, 8 to 12 minutes, sometimes twice a day. But I start off here in that semi-prone position and do some external rotations with my leg to open up the hips. And for me, the looser my hips are and the hamstrings, the looser my lower back is. And being tall, vertically challenged, the lower back is where I really hold that tension. And the looser I get, the better the workout I have and the less risk of injury there is. But it's definitely carried me through the last, I'll say, 7 or 8 years, anti-aging, so to speak. It's so essential. It's such a simple routine, but simple but essential, put it that way. And I take ownership of each position. Just take my time going through it, no rushing. And that child's pose, and I open up my groin here, stretch the groin out, stretch my wrists out, especially with the kettlebells, swinging them around. Now I do a little bit of core, but this also activates my central nervous system, in my spine. Doing some dead bugs here, in and outs, and some half leg raises. Just kind of waking everything up. But yeah, your core is so essential. It gives you that structural integrity, like I've said before. And here's some trunk rotations. You probably see me do this with my legs straighter with the kettlebell, doing those windshield wipers. Well, this is my preliminary move, just to get everything activated, all right? And then some, I call them ab bicycles. Elbows to knees. And just doing a few more of the dead bugs again. I really like doing this with a 15, 20, 25 pounds because you're really hitting the core, your upper and lower abs. Next, I do it's a hip, what do you call it? Internal and external hip stretch like this. And then I'll do some piriformis stretches and hip extensions. I just started doing those probably about 2 to 3 years ago. There's a piriformis stretch there. It's really good for runners too. There's a single leg hip bridge. Yeah, I spend a lot of time getting the hips loose, especially when you're swinging those kettlebells, a little groin stretch again. And I think I finish here with a hip bridge, full like a plank hip bridge. All right, these are hip cars. Just to get that socket joint in the hip loose, I go forwards and backwards each direction 5 or 10 times. And then hit the other side. Simple movement, but it really does get me loose. Next, I go into kind of like a split squat. Sometimes I'll just do an isometric hold here. And I do these on the stairs to get a deeper stretch or hold in that position. It's easier on the stairs with your front leg elevated. There we go. So if your knees are really tight or you don't have that mobility, start doing this on the stairs so you get that full range of motion, kind of where your calf reaches your upper thigh, right there. And for the camera angle, I had to kind of do it sideways. And then I do a hamstring stretch on each leg after I do those. Sometimes I'll lay on the ground and just stick my foot up in a doorway, one leg up, one leg down to stretch the hamstring. Now I'm doing some more hip movements here, up, down. Sometimes I'll put like something to lift my leg over to get a little rotation. So I'm about halfway through here, a little more than halfway. Now I'm doing a quad stretch called a couch stretch. It's really hard in the beginning. You got to work your way up to it, but it stretches your hip flexors and your quad in the front of the leg. Now these are called 90-90 switches. I've really made great strides in this. I can get my chin down to my knee or over my knee. So you got one leg internally rotated and one externally rotated. And I usually hold that position at the bottom for 5 or 10 seconds. But I definitely have to be loose prior to getting into this mobility drill here, the 90-90 switch. And then after I do a couple, I lay back, stretch my lower back, trying to get both legs flat on the ground. I haven't achieved that yet. Now I'll kind of go 90-90 switches after this here for repetition, just to open my hips up. Start right here. Here we go. Keep my hands out in front as a counterbalance. Sometimes I'll hold a 15-pound kettlebell to keep me grounded. But I've gotten a lot better at this, doing it with, no hands on the floor. But everything is, incremental progress, like I've always stated. You just got to be patient with making gains and change. When you're older, your body just doesn't move and recover like it did when you're in your 20s and 30s. Now this is like a pigeon stretch on the stairs. I got one leg folded under, and this really loosens up your hips externally. I know it looks painful, but I've had to work up to it. I could almost do it on the floor, almost be completely flat. But like I said, on the stairs, it's kind of an elevated version to get you a better range of motion. And another one of my favorites, I do this with kettlebells. This is just a 3-pound weight here. Windmills, kind of have my feet pointed 45 degrees to open my hips up. And I'm trying to keep that back leg straight. You could be bent on the front leg. The back leg, the straighter it is, the better. Stretch that hamstring out. And here's another bridge. And then finishing up here, I use a foam roller. I use it vertically and horizontally to really break up that tightness along my spine. And you're using your core rolling back and forth as well. And then last, I'll finish up on the stability ball. You get a really good stretch on my spine and do some maybe sit-ups on that stability ball as well. But that's it. It's good medicine for me. Hopefully it works for you. Thanks for watching, everybody. And as always, keep making progress one day at a time.